Because the lightning is exploding, but it's not aiming at you. So I said, don't fear noise, don't fear explosions. Learn how to kutambua na kutumia cover, na wewe mwenyewe kutumia silaha yako vizuri. If you are very well trained, you have confidence as an individual soldier. So in your training, make sure this one, don't just say, oh, sindio, onalinga, kitazama. Just talking. Go systematically. So I'm happy to be here. I have heard everything you have said. I just came to congratulate you, to also hear the issues you have raised. Your division commander has raised them. We are going to follow up systematically according to the means we have. But I'm very happy with what you are doing. Thank you very much.
And here we have warrant officers, class 1, class 2.
Now, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the UPDF, His Excellency General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, has applauded the UPDF for having effectively applied the concept of the combined arms doctrine, which he said has been crucial for the success of the ongoing Operation Shujaa. Museveni made these remarks at the Mountain Division headquarters in Muhoti, Kabarole District. Haruna Mutasasira reports.
Uganda People's Defense Forces UPDF and Armed Forces of Democratic Republic of Congo FARDC launched a joint operation against ADF in eastern Congo on November 30th, 2021 with bombardment on 4 major camps. Since then, the two forces have captured several camps and secured major routes in eastern Congo, enabling ground battle teams to pursue the ADF rebels who had fled to the thick forests. Operation Shujaa officers from the Armored Brigade, Artillery, Air Force, Communication in Mountain Division converged at Muhoti Barracks in Kabarole District to meet the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. The Chief of Defense Forces, General Wilson Mbadi, briefed the President about the progress of the ongoing Operation Shujaa aimed at pacifying eastern Congo.
The preliminary aim for which Shujaa was mooted has been really achieved, and that was to destroy the ADF main camps so that we can deny them freedom of action.
Mbadi said the ongoing road construction project on Kasindi, Beni, Butembo, Bunagana, Rushuru facilitate the movement of troops and other strategic decisions made between the forces of the two countries. To avoid back and forth attacks between the ADF rebels, President Museveni has advised the UPDF to intensify Operation Shujaa security mechanism to avoid further insurgents in areas already secured by the joint forces.
The Mountain Division is a specialized force. Because you are fighting in a terrain which is very steep, but also very cold, very cold. So the soldiers must be able to overcome, and rainy, sometimes it's raining all the time. So the Mountain Division must be prepared differently and clothed differently. Warm suits, waterproof. Those are very, very crucial.
He said that the capacity of UPDF troops in Operation Shujaa has been able to make maximum damage on the enemy at minimum cost.
To know that as long as I have bullets and I use the terrain properly and I'm coordinating with my people in a squad, in a section, in a platoon, no enemy will remove me from here. I will only go from here on orders, because the commanders have ordered me to go, but not because the enemy has frightened me. This is the confidence I want.
The commander-in-chief said the military operation in Eastern Congo is very crucial for peace and stability of both countries. He applauded the Air Force's reconnaissance role, which he said enabled the UPDF to inflict heavy losses on the ADF rebels on the first day of the operation. The Air Force and long-range artillery was later followed by the advancement of the infantry through Busunga, Kamango, Mkakati to River Semriki. The Mountain Division Commander Major General Kayanja Mohanga assured the Commander-in-Chief that UPDF remain committed towards implementing the presidential strategic directives to ensure there is peace and stability in Eastern Congo.
Our operation objective is to destroy ADF rebel camps, groups in Eastern DRC. Our military operational end state is to degrade the ADF capacity.
Operation Shujaa is being implemented following a memorandum of understanding between the government of Uganda and DRC to conduct a joint operation for eradication of ADF in Eastern Congo. Haruna Mutesasira, UBC.
Hundreds of Congolese refugees are stranded at Bunagana border as the M23 rebels block them from crossing back to DR Congo from Uganda. The refugees who first crossed to Uganda claimed that the living conditions in the transit center in Nakabande in Chisoro district are appalling, with no basic needs. Now, as Philippa Gota reports, the refugees have now taken shelter under people's shops at Bunagana town on the Ugandan side since they can't go anywhere.
The overwhelming number of refugees along the road is what fascinates one while driving from Kisoro town to Bunagana border. These are refugees who first crossed to Uganda on Monday when the M23 rebels took over Bunagana town on DR Congo side. But they now claim the living conditions in the transit center at Nakabande in Kisoro districts are poor and they don't have basic needs.
Nagabuze namazi ntago nisabuni ntabyo none nakora iki hano
mwene ko batashaka abantu bariyo twe kwari kwaragiye Nyakabande twagiye mbere none abana bose bandwariye tani kintu cyo mfite cyo kubagurira ibintu kugenda ngere mu rugo ndebe twakanemba twarumye ndukorere mvuza abana mbe mu rugo.
The refugees wanted to cross back to Congo and access food and basic needs, but they have now been blocked by the M23 rebels at the border who are still in control of Bunagana town in Congo.
Umugore wanje asigarayo asigayeyo ngezira Nyakabande inzara iranjuye tatahutse n'umugore wanje ariri.
The refugees are now faced with water and food crisis as they get stranded at the Bunagana Town Council on Ugandan side.
Abako government yadufasha ikaduhereza amazi turi kuja mu Kongo twagera mu Kongo aba wihanganye kwagerayo kugira ngo wanyuze mu ishamba gurusabo ruko wagera mu Kongo ubona amazi.
Are these guys from Congo?
Most of the youthful refugees are seen loitering in the streets of Bunagana, while others have taken shelter under the verandas of the buildings in town. Uganda Red Cross Operations Team leader in the DRC refugee response says famine and the risks associated with poor hygiene will escalate if the crisis in DRC continues.
The more we get the population, the more, of course, needs increase. But we are very glad that always partners are keeping on resource mobilizing, they are mobilizing resources to add to whatever is being done here. Of course, we are aware that should this situation continue, we shall be having a stretch of needs and more especially needs of resources and funding to support the gaps that will be happening.
The refugee crisis started on Monday this week when the M23 rebels fighting the DR Congo government took over Bunagana town in DRC. Philippa Gota, UBC News in Bunagana town at Uganda-DRC border.
Thank you, Philip. Now, Katikekire Seed Secondary School in Tapak Sub-County in Moroto District that cost 1.4 billion Uganda shillings has been turned into a kraal for cattle by the community. Now, the school has never conducted any class since it was completed in the year 2019. It has no teachers, no staff houses and furniture. We have the details in this report.
It is a government policy that every sub-county should have a secondary school. In Moroto, government has Nanduget SS in Nanduget sub-county, Katikekire Seed Secondary School in Tapat sub-county, and the newly constructed Rupa Seed Secondary School in Rupa sub-county. However, Katikekire is not operating since it was completed in 2019. It has no teachers, it has no furniture and staff houses.
How can you select a site where there are no communities? You leave the communities away 10 kilometers away. Why you don't even expect even a child, even if they have to turn this school, you have to be a day scholar school. You cannot get in a paper in a student.
Rooms that have been constructed, they don't have furniture. And because the handover has not been done, you don't know whether the contractor did not complete the project or the district paid for the work which was not completed.
The project contractors have never handed over the school to the district leadership.
And there is no indication from the district that they are following up the contractor to hand over.
The ministry sometimes is monitoring. Our work is to give the input, like the district engineer, to give the input of monitoring the progress of the project and also see which level before payment is done.
According to Moroto district leadership, Ministry of Education has recruited acting head teachers.
They sent a head teacher, acting, assigned as a caretaker, to start the school, but other teachers are not yet posted, so the school cannot begin.
And to be running without the teachers' accommodation, because even that teacher, there is nowhere that even that teacher can sleep. Even the washerman could be even here, maybe taking care of all these kind of things. As you can see, most of the classes here, like this. Classes of the windows, they are all broken.
The school is surrounded by bushes, no padlocks on the buildings, and the classes are full of dung, which shows that it is utilized as kraal for cattle at night.
See this kind of cow dung. It shows you that, it tells you that this is the place where the animals sleep. When you see this kind of thing, this cow dung is not for temporal. It's not like maybe they have just put the animals inside for a short time. Then maybe after that time, so this one shows that it is trans-night.
Moroto District Chief Administrative Officer Charles Komakech says they have written several letters to Ministry of Education, but in vain.
I always notified the Ministry of Education in writing, in meetings. We have ever gone there with a delegation to tell them to send for us teachers. But all they tell us is they are still recruiting. They are in the process of recruiting teachers for Katikekire. It is called Katikekire Seed Secondary School.
He promised us that they will still need to come and assess, and the engineer in our meeting that time was tasked to make a BOQ on how to make the repairs and also teachers' houses. So we are still waiting for the feedback from the ministry.
Resident District Commissioner for Moroto, George William Wopua, blames district leaders for failing to supervise government projects.
It's an example of waste of public resources. And the people go around and they blame the president, that the president has done nothing for Karamoja. This is one of the things the members of parliament and the local leaders would be pushing to get done. How can a school be constructed? There has been no handover, it's abandoned.
The Deputy RDC Moroto, Justin Tuko, has a message for fellow Karamojong leaders.
To Karamoja region, about 90% of the resources in Uganda has been injected to Karamoja. You see now when you see this kind of school here, it is just the technical team of districts that are letting this government down. So as leaders now, one of the things that they need to do is, they need to follow up these kind of things. Then the other thing is they need also to synthesize the communities, to bring the students to bring the students to this kind of.
Kire Seed Secondary in Tapak Sub-County, Moroto District, was constructed in 2018-19 financial year with over 1.4 billion shillings funded by Government of Uganda through Ministry of Education.
Now, Oyam district is concerned about the high number of pupils' absenteeism registered in the district recently. During a community engagement in Minakulu Town Council, the district inspector of schools, David Adia, revealed that the current pupils' absenteeism stands at 22%. Eddie Olwa with more.
In the last PLE results, Oyam district registered a low performance with over 20% of its registered candidates failing completely.
So it's a big challenge which we call upon government intervention. We have a total of only 1,520 teachers in Oyam, but according to our enrollment, we need 2,100 teachers for us to operate effectively.
This has been attributed to numerous challenges of over-enrollment, limited funding, poor infrastructures and inadequate manpower. Currently, the classroom pupil ratio is at 1 to 128, while teacher to pupil ratio is at 1 to 125, and desk pupil ratio is at 1 to 11.
To try to give us the wage bill which is commensurate to the number of pupils that we have. And even the ceiling should be open. So that,
although the district is advocating for an increase in funding the sector, high school absenteeism is another challenge that the district is grappling with. Recently, a survey done by the district revealed that out of 100 pupils, 22 are always absent.
Harvesting season, they go back to work in the garden. When they finish, they come back to school. When it is planting season, like that.
People are crossing a swamp here.
During a public engagement at Minakulu Town Council, parents demanded school authorities to refrain from sending children away for fees.
I have just learnt of that today. It was raised.
Yeah, that's a major thing here. When children came back to school, just barely 2 weeks, children are being sent away that they are not paid money for, is it water?
I'm saying that must stop. Let them deal directly with the parents. The children should not be chased away from school.
Where I've been, you cannot send away a child. When you are demanding some money from parents, you send demand notes, give to every child to take.
In 1997, NRM government introduced UPE to allow free access to education for 4 children per family. Most schools usually agree with the parents for some additional contribution for school development.
Because if we find one chased away, I'm telling you, the teacher or whoever will also follow.
Educationists believe the culture of sending pupils back for fees is one major cause of absenteeism and school dropout in rural areas due to poverty. Eddie Olwa, UBC News.
Thank you, Eddie Olwa. Now, 300 South Sudan students based in Juba, affiliated to Kampala University, remain stranded after breaking news that they are not part of the list of graduates for the university's 19th graduation ceremony slated for the 23rd next Thursday in Kampala. The worried students are holding placards with messages protested over the shocking news at the Kampala University premises based in Mutundwe. Ivan Juko with more.
It is a common doctrine and norm for learners to impatiently wait to finish their studies, and this comes with awarding of credentials and graduation ceremonies, especially for those who attend higher institutions of learning. However, it's saddening to 300 Kampala University's students based in Juba as they stand worried for not being selected for the university's 19th graduation ceremony. Saturday morning, they held placards in protest for not being included among this year's graduates. Hamid is querying about the cause of this.
Himself said he doesn't know us. That's one. 2, said we came from Juba, here in Kampala. Katarga did not even come one day to tell us that on this date I'm going to graduate you. Katarga is only waiting during graduation period.
We are here today demonstrating for our rights as South Sudanese. We have been studying in Juba under Kampala University.
Their dissatisfaction comes at a time when the university is preparing for its 19th graduation, slated for June 23rd next week in Kampala. The rough-looking students, led by their guilty president Oiki Serino Casiano and Akuto Sara, lamented that they paid all the dues and had no reason to be blocked from graduating.
Follow all the procedure for the payment that is needed from them.
I spent 4 years paying my school fees, and reaching here, there is no point of graduation as we talk here.
We have been chased out of the main campus like beggars, that we do not know you from Juba.
They presented the receipts and identification cards to us to ascertain that they are eligible students at the university, and wondered why the university would turn against them.
Any document?
Yes. Speaking to the leaders at the Juba-based branch, Faizo Kalemajuko and John Elagu, they enlightened about this, demanding for a formal document from the proprietor of Kampala University, Professor Badru Katerega, forbearing the students from graduating.
Students who are here, whom they have refused to graduate, are communicating to their relatives in Juba, South Sudan, that these Ugandans have refused to graduate us. These Ugandans have taken our money.
Abana ng'ensonga yaabwe bali kuyakubatikira. Abaana abo bamaliza buli kimu ku ttendekero lyabwe ery'Ejjuba era tubadde nabo emyaka 4 nga basoma. Twagala professor aveeyo atuwe final stand ye nti sigenda kutikira baana bano.
However, the public relations officer Kampala University Julius Sekatawa, through a phone call, stated that they closed their services in Juba long ago.
Professor Katerega ya closing branch ye Juba ngenaku z'omwezi 23 olira 23 January 2017. Tosobola kutikira muntu atasomeddewo.
Wana batabatikidde nga alternative eriwo tujja genda mu kooti.
Mwaivan Njuko for UBC News.
Now, it's very devastating for a student to go 4 years in university and not have a chance to graduate, and more so a foreigner at that. Well, moving on with more stories this evening, the former chairperson of Akore Primary School Management Committee has declined to hand over the school stamp over land disputes that arose from religion denominations. Now, this has forced the school to borrow stationery supplies from the neighboring schools after the new management failed to access UPE funds from the bank accounts. This was unearthed at the local accountability meeting held by the Office of the Prime Minister at Ogolai Sub-County Headquarters in Amuria District.
Akore Primary School, a government-aided school in Ogolai Sub-County Amuria District, is currently struggling to operate after the new management failed to access UPE funds due to the absence of the school stamp.
There is a problem. Even joke, they went on borrowing and they tell me to get the money from my pocket and salary to go and pay. And all along when that money was denied for me, every meeting I don't miss, I'm called here and there for the school. And I use my money. Even some of the items to complete the term, I use my salary to buy. With the expectation that if this money is good, I can be refunded my cash.
The crisis resulted from the collusion of the Catholics and the Anglican Church, who are fighting to own the land title of the school.
What fueled all this is that there was a plan to survey land in Akore, and the request was to survey it under the Catholic Church name. Now, when the Anglican Church heard about it, they wrote a contest against surveying it in the name of the Catholic Church. And we very well know that the law does not allow you to proceed to process a land title on a land which is contested. And that's how we stopped and said, no, for us to have the interest in the primary school, let's put the name in the primary school. When those other issues are sorted out, the land title will be adjusted accordingly.
Amidst the fight, the chairperson of the school management committee suspended the school head teacher for aiding Anglican Church in acquiring school's land title.
You know, life is precious and not spare. I called Chairman LC3, I called the councillor, I called the Sakawa, I called then they mobilized the police, even the Giso came, some people came. I told them that they are coming tomorrow in the morning, so you people be alert for rescue of my life. And indeed they came. When they came, I called these people, and the network went, and those people came to the office. And what he told me was that I have not come for any explanation. Can you pack your things and go? Full stop.
The junior teachers are now managing this school after the deputy head teacher also refused to take over.
Me, I was telling them that you were my appointed what? Deputy. Can you take over? He refused, Mr. Lalo. I told his Muse was there before me, before he came, he also refused. I told him, how can the school now run? It is you now doing it, on remote control also, because I'm from a deputy. On remote control to school, and the chairman SMC on remote control from Lira.
Amuria Resident District Commissioner Lilian Eyal directed the district police commander to investigate the matter.
I have guided that Car 1 writes to the bank introducing the new SMC so that signatories can be changed and UPE funds can be withdrawn for activities of the school. 2, I have also assigned the DPC to take it up and investigate and find out why he's sabotaging government program. Attempts to call him for meetings have failed, and therefore it is now a security matter.
Eyal made a directive at the local accountability meeting held by the Office of the Prime Minister at Ogolai Sub-County Headquarters in Amuria District. Joseph Oko, UBC.
Security forces in Karamoja say they have strategically deployed in all hotspots in the region to restore peace in all corners of Karamoja. Security actors said the situation is not out of hand as portrayed on social media platforms. In this report, some leaders in Karamoja say the mode of operation in the current disarmament will not yield much success, but instead may increase insecurity as it is currently in Kotido. Let's have the details.
Kotido district has become a murder hotspot where road ambushes are reportedly laid on a daily basis. An elder and an opinion leader in Moroto district, Jackson Angera Adome, recently survived an attack by warriors at his home in Moroto. Thanked security for the relative peace.
How do these fellows now manage to penetrate deep into town and begin terrorizing? I was a victim on Saturday. Yes. There are thieves still there.
The situation is calm. Although now with the operations, the young men in the villages are on run. But as leaders, we still come in, we still say let operation continue.
Adome explains the cause of insecurity in Kotido.
There are 2 camps that are now divided in Kotido. There are 2 groups. There are groups of the present leaders from LC 1 up to whichever level, whether MPs or what. All those leaders, that is the working class. And then there is a group who are not working, who are not either politicians, who are not in leadership at all. So the 2 groups are now parallel. This is what I seem to be also analyzing as things come. The other group, and these ones, the other group, they are saying the people who are destroying us. That's why we are being tortured. That's why we are being what? Are the leaders.
Previous incidences are isolated cases that are really being managed well, and we are seeing that Kotido as a single district, the station is never out of hand. We're in charge. We are stemming up simultaneous operations to deal with the criminal elements in the Kotido district.
Security officers say anything they are doing is guided by law, though area leaders say the mode of operation by security forces is not good.
The victims, sorry, as long as you continue with that kind of approach, to be honest with you, they will not go far. Instead, they are trying to incite Karamoja to begin arming themselves. This is my own personal opinion as an elder. Because what I'm now getting, people are now saying, what is the use? Whether you have the gun, whether you don't have the gun, whether you're a criminal or whether you are not a criminal, whether you're a peaceful person, as long as you are what you are given the same treatment.
These allegations which people bring in order to discredit the operation.
The chairperson, Karamoja Reformed Warrior Group, John Robert Akeke Adupa, wants security forces to stop sending leaders to collect guns of the suspects because it puts their lives at risk.
Then later, again, these people turn against you, like you are the one who is bringing the army to them. So we now as leaders, we need any person arrested and talks of having a gun. The army has to escort that person up to where he has put his gun.
Angera says that if the situation in Kotido is not contained, it will spread to other districts.
The rest of the districts will follow. That fire happening in Kotido will even reach here. It will reach to every corner in Karamoja.
Elders in Karamoja want to meet with President Museveni to discuss the Karamoja problem. Since Operation Usalama Kwa Wote started in July last year, over 300 guns have been recovered. Sudat Kaye, Moriniga, UBC News.
UBC Tonight takes a very short break, but return after these messages with more stories.
Have waka, you bust the eyes through me about my waka. Now come and see for yourself, see my waka that I got with Momo Nyabo. Jangola be waka, look at you waka, see my waka that I got with Momo Nyabo.
Show them waka! Simply deposit 20K or more on your mobile money for a chance to win 3 Toyota Succeeds and money to 2,000 lucky winners every week. We're giving away 24 cars and over 2 billion shillings of mobile money.
Fellow citizens, thank you for diligently and consistently honoring your tax obligations. It is through your collective contribution that the government is able to provide social services. In spite of the simultaneous global crises that have hit our livelihoods and businesses, you have proven that as a people, we can rise up and still mobilize domestic revenues enough to sustain us as a country. As we close in to the end of this financial year, I urge you not to lose the momentum and resilience that you have demonstrated all year through. Please file your returns and remit your taxes in time to avoid unnecessary inconveniences that come with non-compliance. As Uganda Revenue Authority, we are committed to facilitate you in honoring your obligations through a reliable and delightful service. I invite you to use our various e-platforms to remit your tax contributions with ease and on time. We have extended all our working hours at all our border stations, the bonded warehouses, and service centers. Should you need further assistance, please contact us via our toll-free lines and our WhatsApp platforms. Tax is the surest way of liberating our country from the bondage of economic dependence. Let us all play our part, pay our dues, and develop our country. For God and my country.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together. The Kabaka Birthday Run 2022 is back on Sunday, 3rd July 2022 at Lubiri Mengo. This year, the run will be physical and will be flagged off by Sabasaja Kabaka at 7 a.m. Come out in large numbers once again to Lubiri Mengo. Run for a cause to fight and end HIV by 2030. Buy your ticket today at 15,000 Uganda shillings from Airtel shops at Tobani Center, New Taxi Park, ShopRite Building, Benchwanka Street, Majestic Brands Office at Bulange Mengo. You can also buy your ticket using Airtel Money. Dial *185*5#. Select Payments, select Kabaka Run, and follow the prompts to complete the payment. Kabaka Birthday Run 2022 is brought to you by UNAID, CBS, BBS, and Airtel, the smartphone network.
Football packages, great entertainment, sports, telenovela, the movie.
best entertainment for any budget. With GoTV, you will have great entertainment for as little as 13,000 Uganda shillings per month. GoTV, great stories, Zidiwano. GoTV Uganda, love it.
Leaders who care create a good learning environment.
Because a good school equals a better life.
Raising voices.
Get connected today with the My Airtel 4G smartphone and enjoy free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 Uganda shillings. That's free 2 GB for the first month and free 1 GB for the next 11 months at only 250,000 Uganda shillings with free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 shillings, making the effective price of the 4G phone 163,500 shillings only. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back from that break. Now in more news this evening, 2 fishermen have been arrested with 1,530 undersized nets and 10,015 hooks in the first operation to crack down on illegal fishing in Kasese municipality. Now the UPDF Fisheries Protection Unit in Kasese says they are determined to end illegal fishing on major lakes. We have more in this report.
Kasese is cracking down on illegal fishing gears in an advanced move to stop illegal fishing on major fishing lakes. The head of UPDF Fisheries Protection Unit in Kasese, Major Kenneth Katwesije, says the Fisheries Protection Unit was able to net 2 suspects in connection with trade of undersized fishing gears.
1,530 undersized nets ranging between the sizes of 3.5, 3 inches, 2 inches and 1 inch, and 10,015 undersized hooks, which are below the recommended size of 9 as per the Fish Act.
Major Kenneth Katwesije says traders in illegal fishing gear are still frustrating the fight against illegal fishing on lakes.
Is that we shall secure a court order that will give us a go-ahead to destroy those gears. Eventually, they will be destroyed after securing a court order.
If the impounded fishing gears were to be used on Lake George, considering the size of the lakes in Kasese, it would cover up the entire lake.
In a day, at a single setting, they can cover the whole surface area of the lake, which is a serious detriment to the lake ecosystem and to lead to serious depletion of the lake.
Authorities are now asking for cooperation from the locals if this vice is to be curbed.
Of getting involved in trade, in illegal nets and setting of illegal nets into the lake to stop forthwith, otherwise the law will catch up with them.
With the operations reinforced, poor fishing methods are coming down on major fishing sites in Kasese.
The government of Netherlands has earmarked 3.7 million euros towards advancing the biodigester market as an alternative source of energy for households in Uganda. The 4-year project, running until 2025, targets installation of at least 8,000 small-scale biodigesters across Uganda, providing energy access to 40,000 people. State Minister for Mineral Development, Peter Lokerius, welcomes such modern biomass strategic support to government as a possible reduction in the country's demand for wood fuel.
Dubbed ABC, as goes its acronym, the Africa Biogas Component is a project whose launch was conducted in Entebbe, Uganda on Friday.
Bit of a problem.
It aims at promoting the scaling of biodigester technology towards the agriculture value chain.
Our new emission target for this country is 148.8 million metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalent per year. So for us to cut down that annually as a country, the number of projects that we've laid out, and some of these projects are in rolling out technologies for clean energy, but also looking at energy efficiency and conservation initiatives.
It is reported that biomass constitutes about 90% of energy consumption in Uganda, with the demand for firewood surpassing natural production, leading to deforestation. This is one of the problems that the new project is seeking to solve.
The fuel wood is generally used in non-efficient cooking stoves that emit smoke, leading to indoor pollution. This aggravates the respiratory eye infections, especially in women and children who spend long hours in the kitchen.
The prefabricated biogas digesters continue to be developed, tested, and extensively applied in developing countries to compensate for the disadvantages of traditional domestic digester models.
The project is also expected to reinforce the government initiatives in achieving its third national development plan, targeting increasing access to clean cooking.
Government of Uganda recognizes in its renewable energy policy of 2007, the revised draft energy policy 2022, and the third national development plan, the factors and conditions that have led to over-reliance on woody biomass for cooking.
Minister Lokeris also sees this as a possible avenue for employment creation in Uganda.
The project will therefore support the government in achieving its NDP 3 targets of increasing access to clean cooking and reducing the demand for firewood and charcoal, while creating clean employment for Ugandans.
Entirely funded by the Netherlands Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the project will be managed by the Netherlands Enterprise Agency. The 4-year project will cost 3.7 million euros. Henry Okrut, UBC.
The members of Orungo County Tailors Association are in tears after their chairperson, Charles Ochuma, vanished with the Biogas funds worth 10 million Uganda shillings. Now it is alleged that the culprit took advantage of the ignorant members to fake receipts after collecting money from the bank. The saga was revealed at the local accountability meeting held by the Office of the Prime Minister at Orungo Sub-County Headquarters in Amuria District.
Orungo County Tailors Association members in Amuria District have lost hope in a battle to fight poverty after their chairperson, identified as Charles Ochum, vanished with a Biogas funds worth 10 million shillings.
One of the Sako Tailors Association in Orungo Parish, he has picked money worth 3 million, and then one of the Sako Tailors Association, the Tailors Association in Ogolai Sub-County, he managed to grab money there worth 5 million and above.
It's alleged that the culprit took the advantage of ignorant members to fake receipts after collecting money from the bank.
But only I asked the other persons whom he had issued the receipts. The other person told me that no, these are the receipts he gave us because of the ignorance. So the other persons, they received the receipts. And this is the guy who has decided not to have any document left with the what? With the treasurer of the SACCO, and then with the secretary of the SACCO. And these people don't have any document. It is only him who is the chairperson, is the treasurer, and is the secretary of the SACCO.
The members have spent more than 3 months tracing the footsteps of the culprit, but in vain.
All along we've been trying to look for him, and he is nowhere to be seen. His phone is not going through, and we hear that he has even changed the contacts. And the man is nowhere to be seen. We tried to follow him up even with the sub-county administration. But this is at first the guy told us that, you see, I'm coming. I've now got some job, some government work. I'm now a town agent in a BIM. So I am not, I can't handle the two things at a go.
This left the public of Orungo County upset and wondering whether the parish development model project will serve its purpose.
Yeah, I think so, because they're already telling us that even it is a Biogas here is a waste of time. When this man is disappearing with the money, and even the beneficiaries are worried of the what? Of the PDM, that even this PDM here, since it is a loan or whatever, see, these people might even again take us they might chase us away from home because it's a loan.
Amuria Resident District Commissioner Lilian Eyal was icked after receiving the information and immediately ordered for the arrest of the culprit.
I have also got information that there is a gentleman who has run with about 10 million shillings for a Biogas. I've already handed him to the DPC to look for him, and we shall bring him to books. I want to warn all the people who are beneficiaries, who are going to benefit from PDM, that should you tamper with that money, the law will catch up with you. This is the last bullet to poverty. We want it to yield results. Thank you.
Eyal made this directive while presiding over the local accountability meeting held by the Office of the Prime Minister at Orungo Sub-County Headquarters in Amuria District. Joseph Oko, UBC.
Entebbe Municipality Physical Planning Committee has issued an ultimatum of 90 days to the owners of condemned buildings to either demolish or rehabilitate them. The municipality authority issued the directive and disclosed its campaign of establishing a model village in Division B, warning residents who will be affected that they will not be compensated. The Deputy Town Clerk, Entebbe Division, Danfred Lutaya, said this campaign is to prepare the municipality in transiting to a city status come 2026.
Entebbe municipality is one of the municipalities that were not elevated to a city status due to financial constraints until 2026. The municipality authority, together with political leaders at all levels, continue to exchange ideas on how best they prepare before Entebbe is transformed to a city status.
Council, we are aware the physical planning, physical development plan again at ground.
The Planning Committee and Municipal Development Forum unveiled the new Physical Plan 2030, aiming at building an exemplary model village in Division B.
And we all agreed that we take on Rugonjo as our model village. So we requested the physical planner to come up with a plan about the infrastructure developments of that area, the load network.
The Deputy Town Clerk, Entebbe, Danfred Lutaya, says this new physical plan was approved to develop different communities to hit the smart city status. They have now started training all division councillors, local area leaders of the two villages of Lugonjo and Chiwafu West to understand the relevancy of the program.
They are going to be our agents at the community level because they live in the community and they are now fresh sensitized. When they come to you, please cooperate with them.
The program will commence in the quarter of this new financial year. However, residents with housing plans that were never approved by the municipality authority will not be compensated. The authority remained dissatisfied with the untouchables who abuse state authority to construct in-road reserves.
One of the challenges we are experiencing as a growing town is the slum areas. When you go to Rugonjo, you move around, you can see that some of the roads have been blocked by these illegal developers. So we are planning to see how we can electrify the areas made by the physical plan.
I've been reliably informed that they built in these road networks where. And we know our force, the UPDF, is a force of great discipline, and the police. And a member of that force who built in the road network, well knowing, and is using the role he has in that in our great army to obstruct the opening of a road. That one is doomed.
However, they have issued an ultimatum of 90 days to owners of condemned buildings to rehabilitate them or risk demolition by the municipality authority.
Enaku kyenda olwo machine zinaba zizze nga zijjirawo ki ekizimbe ekyo mugenda kufuna condemnation letters nazo zibere ku file mumanye nti ebizimbe ebyo byaggwako.
These new developments are geared at preparing the municipality for a city status in 2026.
The spirit of Pan-Africanism is key in dealing with African challenges. Now, during the belated Africa Day 2022 celebrations, Ethiopian ambassador to Uganda, Alemsehe Meseret, tipped African leaders on advancing key development issues. Dennis Segoa with the report.
Rise for the sake of the land that we love, Africa.
The Ethiopian High Commission to Uganda has hosted diplomats, government officials and invited guests to mark the belated Africa Day 2022. The day is observed annually on May 25th to commemorate the founding of the Organization of African Unity, which started on May 25th, 1963.
History reveals that Ethiopia stood tall by reconciling the then two ideological blocs and contribute immensely for the formation of OAU in the leadership of the late Emperor Haile Selassie, who was the first chairman of the organization.
The event, hosted by Her Excellency Alemsehe Meseret, the Ethiopian ambassador to Uganda, was graced by John Molimba, the State Minister for Foreign Affairs, who remarked on the item that develops the brain, the food.
On our part, Uganda has undertaken a number of initiatives to end hunger and ensure available, nutritious and sufficient food to the citizens by promoting high-yield seeds and animal breeds that are also resilient to bad weather and diseases. Irrigation schemes have also been introduced in the country to reduce heavy reliance on rain-fed agriculture.
This year's Africa Day was focused on indigenous African foods, diversity and nutritional value.
This year's theme resonates well with what is happening in our continent today, as we face various development challenges, including food insecurity and increasing malnutrition. These challenges have been amplified by interstate, intercommunity conflicts, effects of climate change, and recently, the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic.
At the event, several challenges that the continent of Africa is facing was highlighted by the speakers and the spirit of Pan-Africanism in promoting unity and solidarity.
Challenges are resistible and prone to be overcome, given Africa be more committed to stand together in the spirit of Pan-Africanism. We Africans and the true friends of Africa should contribute more to address the multi-phase challenge and to harness Africa's untapped potential so that we can transfer the young generation to a peaceful and prosperous continent.
Ethiopia is the second most populated nation in Africa with at least 110 million people. It is the seat of the African Union. Dennis Igoa for UBC News.
Naro's Banana Research Program has initiated a drive for commercial banana production in order to tap into the existing market for bananas to reduce post-harvest loss and ensure food security. We have the details.
Banana is a main staple crop in Uganda, grown mostly by small-scale farmers who eat about 60% of production and sell about 40%. The crop is an important source of income for farmers and other value chain actors, but a significant portion of banana production is lost or damaged due to fruit's short shelf life and poor handling. The National Agriculture Research Organization, NARO, is now laying a strategy of moving its products from research laboratories to commercialization. The scientists have teamed up with private sector companies which are already conducting business using some of the products developed at the various institutes. These have identified 8 products to add value, and these include banana, coffee, beans, cassava, sorghum, Irish potatoes, and maize. Wilson Okrut, a senior agronomist, says they have already established a commercialization advisory platform to spearhead this initiative towards advancing banana industrialization.
Breeding work has gone through. We have tried to address diseases, we have tried to address pests, we have tried to address fertility, but we also tried to address susceptibility to drought. And so we have developed some varieties, that are hybrids, that can actually do well even in drier areas.
According to Akore, banana can be utilized in several commercially viable food and non-food industrial applications and processes, such as confectionaries.
We now have hybrids, for example, like here hybrid number 21, where you're able to get 20 liters from one bunch, as opposed, for example, to Chisubi, which could give you just half a liter of banana. So we are talking about, when it comes to the quality of the juice, it's also not very bad.
However, these are being challenged by pests and diseases, which is affecting their production.
The millions of turn-up of profits is quite impressive. But of course there are disease challenges. Agronomical practices. Much as we provide technologies from the research, it's upon the farmer to make his farm productive.
Uganda Parliamentary Forum on Youth Affairs ended its consultative meeting in Eastern Region, which were aligned and aimed at interesting the youth in Busoga sub-region to make decisions and influence budget allocations that aim at improving their welfare and job opportunities. We have more on this story.
The Uganda Parliamentary Forum on Youth Affairs has mobilized the youth to participate in climate change to improve on economic standards. Odoi Bernard Onen, Youth MP Eastern Region, asked government to skill young people in order to help them enter money economy. He also appealed to government to engage the youth in matters of climate change to conserve the environment.
We are pleased that government has put in some subsidies to support the young people and the country at large. Agriculture has been given some reasonable money, but here we still challenge government that the young people of this country require more skills. They require more training so that they can enter the money economy. They require tools of trade. Gone are the days when subsistence farming is the order of the day. If we are talking of money economy, we need to equip our young people with tools of trade, with machineries, so that they can be able to add value to the agricultural products.
The views gathered by the forum shall be presented before Parliament. The youth are encouraged to embrace and participate in government programs and engage in leadership to spike their chances for job opportunities.
I want to call upon youth to embrace government programs. In budget, a lot of money was allocated in climate change, and it's our responsibility to engage ourselves in such opportunities and such programs, such projects through which that money can be distributed.
It's a blessing to all young leaders who are coming like me and all the other students and those ones from different regions, and the issues concerning the education. A lot has been discussed, and we got to know that government really need to reach the young leaders down. The zeal we have to serve the country and the zeal we have to make sure that the lives of the young people in the country are being inspired by the leaders who are on board, through coming on board down and talking to them, guiding them, speaking to them, and showing them that they can make it.
Walunga Yusuf, the president of WUSA, called upon Parliament to come up with bills that concern the youth and help them to love their country.
As the youth, we as the students and the students leaders of this country, we are really calling upon the youth MPs very fast to table this bill because it is going to help us a lot. Two, within today's discussion, we learned that there is need, there is urgency for the government quickly to, through NYC, to establish the district secretariat so that the youth leaders can be in a better position at their district level, engage and do the decisions on behalf of the youth in the particular district.
You pass the eyes through me about my waka.
Now come and see for yourself, see my waka that I got with Momo Nyabo.
Simply deposit 20K or more on your mobile money for a chance to win 3 Toyota Succeeds and money to 2,000 lucky winners every week. We're giving away 24 cars and over 2 billion shillings of mobile money.
Football packages, great entertainment, sports, local content, telenovela, the movies. There is something for everybody. Go TV, this is where the stories live.
Get the best entertainment for any budget. With GoTV, you will have great entertainment for as little as 13,000 Uganda shillings per month. GoTV, great stories, Zidiwano. GoTV Uganda, love it.
Get connected today with the My Airtel 4G smartphone and enjoy free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 Uganda shillings. That's free 2 GB for the first month and free 1 GB for the next 11 months at only 250,000 Uganda shillings with free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 shillings, making the effective price of the 4G phone 163,500 shillings only. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back. And now into the world of sports. The 4th annual Decode Chess Championship is underway at Aga Khan Primary School in Kampala. It's attended by more than 300 players from 30 schools. John Barnes Sentamu with more.
Some of Uganda's best chess talents are taking part in the 2-day Decode Annual Chess Championship that is underway at Aga Khan Primary School in Kampala.
We train this sport to develop the juniors' concentration, to develop their memory, critical thinking, to acquire sportsmanship, and also to become a source of income in their future.
It has attracted some of the best individual players, including Benjamin Netanyahu, Daniel Dokoria, Elvis Mugisha, and Ethan Kigundu.
And as you know, we're having the Africa Youth Chess Championship happening in Lusaka, Zambia, from the 2nd of July 2022. And many of the kids taking part in that event are here in this event. So it will help us to have strong preparations for such a great event on the continent.
This tournament and many others in Uganda have groomed players like world-renowned Maria Nakanyeke and Simon Gonza.
I feel good because developing young minds helps very well because this game helps children in their critical thinking and analytical, so it is good to develop the young minds because they are the ones who are going to rule this country in the future.
When we organize such an event, we intend to identify the talents and also encourage others to up their game and also to have fun, mainly in this game.
The 8 rounds Stanbic Bank-sponsored chess championship continues and ends on Sunday. John Barnes Sentamu reporting.
Now, the much-acclaimed Uganda Swimming League has entered March Day 20 with the action at British School Kampala electrifying. Take a look.
Now in its 2nd season, the Uganda Swimming League continues to grow in stature through quality displays and increase the number of swimmers and fans. This was witnessed at the 20th match day that was spiced by the 200 meters freestyle event that was ably won by Talons that was ushered by Ethan Konihira.
The first thing I did is because in 100 fly there are 2 100s. So what I did was pace the first 100 and the second 100. I used 50 and 100. So like the last 100 I'd pace and sprint because there are 2 50s in 100. So the first 50 I would sprint, second 50 I'd pace, first 50 I'd sprint, second 50 I'd pace.
Going into this latest match day of the three-team league, Talons led the standings, followed by Colts and Astros. By the end of the day, reigning champions Talons maintained a top spot with 6,082 points, while Astros went second and Colts rock bottom.
We were second, but now we're third. I think there was, with the new drafts, I think the pressure that caused them to make mistakes, but I think with time they would also get used. Also, our specialty is breaststroke, and today was a fly and freestyle day where Talons has more fly than us in freestyle.
The league has revealed talents like Paulette Wakabi, Malaika Kikonyogo and Nicole Businje, who have qualified for next month's National Swimming Championship. John Barnes, Sentamu, reporting.
Well, I'd like to thank you so much for your company this Saturday evening. Do enjoy much more of UBC's programming. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto and Muhammad Mugalon Sign Language Interpretation. We wish you a blessed night.
It is time for the latest in weather from the Weather Center with Semper Alex Kim. Sunny intervals dominated our skies across the morning, but in the afternoon, as well as the hours that progressed on, it has been heavy rainfall in various parts of the country, especially the western. Now, the kind of weather we are seeing across the country is mainly influenced by moist and winds that coming in from Congo forests. That is also coupled with moist southeasterlies coming in right from the Indian Ocean, together with the local effects over Lake Victoria. That is why tomorrow morning we do expect to see some bit of rainfall across the Lake Victoria Basin and parts of Arua, as well as some parts of the northern, but the rest of the country will hang on to sunny intervals. But in the afternoon, we do expect a pickup of wet weather activities across most parts of the country, apart from the Lake Victoria Basin, where sunny intervals will dominate. Because of this kind of weather, we do expect it to be a little bit cool. That is across Arua at 28 degrees centigrade, for Karamoja region at 31, whereas in the nation's capital Kampala, we do expect 28, and in Kabale Highlands at 24 degrees centigrade. And if you're expecting to travel, we do expect bright and sunny conditions across Dubai as well as Cairo, but very hot in Dubai at a daytime high of 43 degrees centigrade. And in Hong Kong, we do expect some chances of rainfall at a daytime high of 32 degrees centigrade. With that, we conclude it. Stay tuned and join us again tomorrow, same time.